Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is awe and wonder. And awe and wonder are two of my most favorite states, and they act as a bridge to an experience of life in its richness, maybe a connection with the divine. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Should be a fun conversation. But before we get started, let's take a deep breath. And sorry, I got derailed. Before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, Rosalind. Good morning to everyone else who's joining us. So wonderful to have you here with us this morning. So, awe and wonder. You know, for me, awe and wonder are the most elevating emotional experiences, just uplifting. When I feel awe and wonder, my heart is just so full, and sometimes so much so that it brings me to tears. And the remarkable thing is that this transcendent feeling is so easily accessible. At least I find it so. Just being aware and present to nature and the miraculousness, the beauty. So that's another inroad for me into this experience of awe and wonder and connection and love and joy. This is such a reliable access point for me, nature, to be looking at flowers, just how extraordinary they are, and trees and the grasses and the animals, the birds, the bunnies, the chipmunks, all the animals, as the squirrels. These are all kind of domestic common animals, but I've seen lately foxes and gophers and coyotes, and in other places people are seeing all kinds of other animals and all kinds of plant life around us. And it's so easy, for me anyway, to just be present to how extraordinary and deeply incomprehensible all of these forms of life are. We can even experience awe at the food we consume, at water, at the environment, the built environment, the materials that our furniture is made of. I mean, there's all available to us in any given moment. Good morning, loved by God. So wonderful to have you joining us. We're talking about awe and wonder. And what I notice, and this is something we can all practice, because we tend to unconsciously practice a lot of negative patterns, by worrying, by creating negative scenarios around things, by judging ourselves and others. We create all this negative sort of energy. I can even feel it just talking about it. But the antidote to that, the antidote to judgment, is curiosity. When we get curious about something, we move into a new space, and that's the pathway to awe and wonder. At least it is for me, and I'm suggesting that you might want to play with that, because it's so rewarding, it's so enriching. There's such a deep payback so quickly for getting curious, and getting curious about what's around us, and just looking. So one of my clients yesterday was talking about mindfulness, and they outlined this mindfulness process in such a simple way that it had never occurred to me. It's something that I do, but not in this structured a way. But here's what they do. They focus on something in the near ground, in the foreground. They focus on it and put their attention on it and notice all the details. They said analyze it, but I think what the essence of that is just notice the details. Notice the shapes, the textures, the color and light. Notice the edges. Just notice this thing. And what happens when we go into that space of noticing is we are moving our awareness beyond ourselves. And we're taking something in a way that most likely we hadn't previously. And so when we notice all of that, then it's bringing us present. And then the next step that this person did is notice something that's further away, and notice all of its details. Take it in, be present to it. And as this person said, maybe analyze it if that's what works for you, but just drink it in. Allow yourself to expand into the details of it, the reflections of light, the shapes, the edges, the colors. And, something that happens for me when I really look at something is it kind of gets deconstructed, not into all the component pieces necessarily, but, and this is something in the book, The Artist's Way, where they teach you how to see in order to maybe replicate something. When and this phenomena occurs also, I notice, when you say a word or you read a word over and over and over, and you look at the letters, after a point, it's like the word sounds really strange and the letters look really bizarre, and it's like, what is this? It takes on a different dimension. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but try saying a word over and over and over again, and we start to hear it in a very different way rather than in the context of language. It becomes more sound. And this is the same thing with noticing visually something near or far. And as we start noticing the colors, you can start seeing, and the reflection of light, you can start seeing patterns and nuances, and the thing itself sort of dissolves into all these interrelationships of the light and color and shape and edge, and the interpretation of the whole kind of fades into the background, and we get to see this thing as a dynamic rather than as the thing that we associate with it. We get to see it more as this dynamic of sensory information. And so then after looking at the foreground and looking at the background, then coming back to oneself and one's body and being, and noticing your body and being, which most likely has shifted, because what's happened is you've shifted your orientation, you've shifted your perspective, you've shifted your consciousness to a place of a deeper awareness that allows you access to a richer experience than you previously had. And what generated for this person from that, in our conversation, they then moved from the explanation of this to talking about being on a walk and being in awe of the flowers. They were talking about a bush that had maybe 30 flowers, and each of those flowers had flowers within it. And they were talking about how miraculous it was and how remarkable it was that there was some way that this was created. And that's the awe and the wonder that brings us into the richness of our universe and can allow us to recognize that we are just the very smallest part of a vast, vast, vast intelligence, or our physicalness, or the duration of our lives is just a blink, if that, in this greater context of existence that is so, so rich in every dimension of experience. And so, again, where does it start? It starts by curiosity, which is kind of an opening of the windows, the doors of perception, right? And then through that curiosity and receiving the information that's around us, receiving the sensory, the availability, receiving the sensory stimulation that is all around us. For me anyway, it goes straight to my heart. It creates or activates a heart opening in a way nothing else can, or nothing else has for me. To be stepping into that space of awe. Even, we can do that. I don't know if it works for everybody, but when I presence myself, for instance, to a baby, oh my gosh, I think that's true for so many people, maybe not everybody, but to be connected to the miracle of life. The miracle of life itself is with us in every moment. The miraculousness of it. And if we can allow ourselves to drink more of that in, to experience more of that life, to bring that into and through our bodies, life becomes a very different experience because we're connected. Because what that vitality is connection. And when we can allow ourselves to be part of this greater web of life, we can't not be part of the greater web of life, is the truth. But when we can presence ourselves to the fact that we are part of this greater web of life, it's elevating. Do you have experiences like this? Can you think of things that allow you to access that sense of awe and wonder that moves into and lights up your heart? Because if there's anything to practice rather than worry, why not practice that? What would the world be if we lived in that space? What kinds of things can we create? What kinds of experiences can we create in the world? What kinds of material things would we create coming from that place rather than a place of fear or separation? Just saying. What would that be like? And the beauty of this is that it's available to us at any moment. It's not something anybody can take away from us. It's something that's self-generated by our intention. So when we talk about having choice regarding the quality of our lives, regarding our experience, the quality of our experience, this is what we're talking about. That we have ready access. We have ready access to the richness of the experience of this joy, this love. Yes, beautiful. Rosalind says, connecting without a barrier of language. Oh, I love that. Well, with language, with communication, they say that only a small fraction of our communication is language. That a lot of our communication is body language, is tonality, beyond. And so I'm so glad you said this, because this person that I was talking to was talking about how remarkable that this source of all this miraculous existence chose to communicate with us personally. Now, this is a religious person, and they were referring to the scriptures. What I was experiencing in their conversation was, yes, whatever this magnificent force is of life and vitality and creation, whatever this is, it's communicating with us in every moment, because we, first of all, are part of it, and there's this miraculousness all around us that is wondrous if we choose to allow ourselves to recognize it, to be present to it. It's how would that force of life communicate with us? By giving us life, by surrounding us with life. And I don't particularly, personally, I don't particularly believe in a force outside of ourselves. You know, that we are part of it. We are all of it and part of it all at the same time. And maybe we can experience the miraculousness of our own being by becoming more and more present to the miraculousness that surrounds us. And that we are intimately and intricately connected to the web of life. What if truly, literally, everything is connected through fields of energy? This web of energy, everything is connected to everything else. And how extraordinary, well, I guess it's not extraordinary because everything is connected to everything else. So that's our ordinary existence, but it's awesome. It's awe-filled and wondrous when we allow ourselves to recognize it. Loved by God says oneness. Indeed. Indeed. And our pain comes from the illusion of separateness, the illusion of separation. But we can actually, literally, presence ourselves to that connection and recognize that we are, like, our consciousness, our individuated consciousness is present. It's kind of like we exist on multiple levels all at the same time, right? We have our individuated consciousness, and we also have the ability to access and connect consciously with our greater web that is all around us all the time. And for me, really, truly, and I invite you to see if it's so for you as well, that connecting to the miraculousness of it all, particularly through nature, is the greatest, quickest bridge to connect with that broader intelligence. And I believe, I don't know, I'm experimenting with this and looking to expand my connection to see if it's true, but I believe that as we connect more deeply with this broader intelligence, that our intelligence grows. And I don't mean necessarily intellect kind of intelligence, but a richer intelligence of connection. We were talking about wisdom the other day, so the connection of wisdom that is a bigger knowing, a bigger perspective, an integrated sense of being that doesn't necessarily get expressed in words or action, but it becomes a deep knowing beyond facts, a knowing that is grounded and complete. It is like the intelligence itself. Like, what's behind what we imagine to be intelligence? There's something animating that. And so what we're talking about, I guess, is finding the deep connection with that source that is creating the animation, that is the activation. And then that brings us closer to whatever that source is. So it can be so simple. It can be so simple. And as I said, beauty, curiosity, and beauty are, and nature, for me anyway, are the pathway, like the quickest bridge to get into a state of awe and wonder and connection. So with that, that's it for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description. And it's always such a privilege and joy to spend this time together. For me, I just feel so blessed to be sharing with you and having this connection with you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And so much love to you. Until next time.